Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of my podcast that you're listening to right now. And today's episode will be about grief. But before we start, I just want to say the biggest thank you ever for supporting me and for your congratulations for my award that I won, and that you like the essay so much. It means so much to me because this essay and what I've wrote is something so important to me, and I am so grateful that all of the people who heard it or listened to the podcast or whatever were touched by this, which is crazy to me because I've never ever in a million years thought that my words can push someone, like go through and listen carefully and make your own opinion about it. And I absolutely love the way that everyone can kind of see the essay from different point of view. I feel like this is so important to me as a writer, as a person who writes right now. So I'm just so grateful, and I don't know how to say it more. Just I love you very, very much, and I truly cannot express my gratitude towards everything. And I was thinking I don't really want to do this episode about grief right now because I don't feel like grieving, but I feel like I want to get over with this forever and not think about it ever again. Maybe I will come back, God knows, but I've never truly in my life like lost someone to death for a really long time, like really long time. Like I know about people who lost their grandparents when they were like 5 or 6 or maybe 13, 14, and I've never ever like experienced that. Like of course I lost some uncles and I don't know, people I knew or met a few times, but never someone like blood related really, like closely, until November, when I found out my father committed suicide, which shocked me. I can tell you, I feel like I can tell you a little story about how it was. So basically it was Friday, and I just left school and I called my mom because that is usually what I do. I call her and tell her like, "Hi mom, I'm going home," and then we talk about whatever. And when she picked up, she sounded really different. And she usually sounds like this when I did something bad, and I was like, I don't know about anything I did, But then out of nowhere, she was like, "Your father died." And I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean he died? Like, what the hell are you talking about?" And she was like, "Yeah, he committed suicide. He hanged himself." And I was like, "What are you saying?" Like, I couldn't process this. I was standing in the middle of street, like being shocked. And then we talked a little, like she explained it to me that her friend came up to her work, and apparently she was like, I don't know if I should tell you, but I feel like I should. And I don't know if you know, but half an hour he committed suicide. My mom was in shock, of course. Like everyone was in shock, like, and people couldn't believe, and I'm not gonna go into details about why he did that, because honestly he took that to his grave, and whatever was happening with his new girlfriend who was very much older than him, or his other woman. I'm not here to judge, and I don't want to shit into my own home, so I'm not gonna talk about that. I really just want to talk about grief, and not much about grief as what I experience and how I feel. So then on the way home in the bus, I texted my best friend, and I was like, I explained to her like what happened, and I started crying because I'm a Pisces. That's the first thing. And second thing, I just feel deeply, and that's okay. I feel deeply. I feel like that is such an honor from God to feel deeply, and I really like appreciate it, and I feel so happy about that. And experiencing whatever things on a deeper level is just so beautiful, and you can flourish into something so like outstanding and brilliant. I just love people who don't hide their emotions and who can like express what they feel. That is exactly who I am. So of course it hit me, and more as I don't know, I felt like I should have been happy, but I wasn't. And I was just so angry at him all the damn time. The anger in me was truly, I can't even express, because he was supposed to be the man who caught me after tossing me into air, but he turned into the first person to ever make me understand what it felt like to fall and land head first. He was supposed to place bandages on the scrapes I got from, I don't know, playing in the yard or with children, but he always kept adding new wounds each time I thought I was healed. And basically he was supposed to save me, but he sacrificed me instead for his own good. So I always thought to myself, like, my father is someone I will never look up to, I will never invite, will never want to spend time with. But deep down I always knew like that is someone I will always miss. And he's been absent basically my whole life. I don't remember him because he left and divorced my mom when I was 3, and I had a meetup with him once when I was either 4 or 5. I don't really remember. And my mom recently told me that when he like came, you were so happy, and you were so happy that he was playing with you and spending time with you, and he was only there for like an hour. That's like a short amount of time, but after he left, like, I was so happy. And whenever he never came back, or he didn't ever like contact me, and she was like, when you asked me like, why don't I have dad like other of my friends do, I never ever knew what to answer you. And that was so hard on me, and I was like, Mom, I do understand, like, I don't know what I would say either. So yeah, there's a certain type of pain that comes with knowing your father doesn't care about you, or doesn't want to know you, and doesn't care to know anything about you. And it definitely hurts when your father doesn't miss you or doesn't care to try. So whenever someone will ask me if, like, who was the first man who broke your heart, I would say him. And he taught me how I didn't want to be loved and what love shouldn't look like. And I wish I had a nice memories with him, but I have zero. I don't even know how his voice sounded like. And I was at his funeral, and when I looked at his grave and I was just like seeing him laying down there, I felt upset, but I always thought about how he is a miserable man, fueled solely with alcohol, fire, and rage, and how mean he was to my mom. And I feel like he was always looking down on me, and thanks to his absence, I felt like I'm worthless. And so I blamed him whenever I saw little girls with their fathers being loved gently. And I feel like love between father and daughter is really special, and it should be celebrated. But at the same time as, I was filled with all this anger, I was happy knowing that those children will never understand the fear of grown men raising their voice, their hand, or a bottle of alcohol. And whenever I see these people, I glance at them and I think where it all went wrong. Like why my father had such a deep hatred for his own daughter, and I can't help but wonder how different my life would be if I had a father who loved me. I don't know, maybe I would have been more, maybe I could trust people more. And thanks to these, I really can't. It's really hard for me to trust people. So I promised myself that whatever happens in my life, no matter how people hurt me and give me, wounds and scars, so I will make sure, definitely 100% of myself to not become just like those people who traumatized me, and never forgive the work I put in to make sure that it never happens. And I know that shit is not easy. So if you're going through this, whatever you are and whatever you do, be proud of yourself. Because I feel like this is another thing that is not talked about how your parents' wounds can truly just describe you and shape you as a human being who goes through very hard things in life, and there is nothing you can do about it because it is so put it in you that you truly just need to take the baggage and go with it your whole life. And exactly that was what happened. There was another baggage on me, another weight I need to carry till the rest of my life. And I know it will slowly fade away, but there will be always something in there, always, and it will never leave. So I definitely try to work on that and to carry that rightfully and carry that with love. And maybe sometimes you need to, all these baggages you have, just give them a little love and maybe cherish them, because not all lessons are learned, as people say. So sometimes you just need to carry them. And so yeah, about my anger, I was basically, I want to summon it and say that I've spent my life recovering from things that I should have been protected from, and I was too young to become a ghost full of grief. Like, children are supposed to be happy and free, and don't tell me I wouldn't be who I am today without all the struggles that I faced. And I know so many people who went through horrible things that are always like, but you wouldn't be who you are without your pain. Like I already know that. I could have been kid instead of being forced to grow up, and the people who were supposed to protect me failed me. Like, no amount of healing will change that ever. So I was really angry about all these things, that I will never get my childhood back, because whenever someone asked, where's your dad, I needed to have like a smart answer to that. And because sometimes when they ask, like, where's your dad, and someone says that he left, they just blame the mother. And I never ever wanted in my life my mother to be blamed, because she did everything she could, and she had a horrible childhood too, even worse than mine. At least I had my mom and I had my grandma who took brilliant take care of me. But when her mom got sick, her father was truly very abusive, and he didn't even need alcohol. Like, he was just like that. And now he realized that she's really like the only person who truly cared about him, which is nice. And I believe that people change. And that was another thing I was upset about, because when he left, at least, before, I had some hope that one day we can meet like an adults, and I can, ask these questions, and maybe he can answer me. Even if he wouldn't, at least I would know that he never cared. But I had this little hope in me, and the moment he just let out his last breath, it all went away. My hope, my anger, because there's truly no one I can be angry at anymore. And everything is just blank. So I feel like that's how I would describe my grief. And I feel like I cried a lot the first 2 days, where I feel like I was just really confused about what was happening. And the people around me didn't make it much easier. But as each day goes by, I learned how to talk about it without, hysterically sobbing. Because let me be honest with you right now, this is my second try, because on the first one I stuttered and I started crying. But right now I feel like it's okay. I hope you understand me, and I hope you understand my point of what I'm trying to say. So I'm sorry, I gaslighted you that this episode isn't really about grief, but more about what I was going through. And maybe if you are going through something similar, I'm here for you, first of all. And second of all, I wish someone was there to tell me that it is not my fault that my parents made mistakes, and I am not one of those mistakes, and it is not my fault that I was born, and my love for whoever should be celebrated, and I should be celebrated too. So really, it is all about understanding, and really about forgiveness, I guess. And the fact he was dying, maybe if he died like in a, I don't know how to say it, like in a normal way, like he was sick or whatever, I wouldn't feel as bad. But the fact that he took his own life, it's making me have even more questions than I had before. And the fact that there is no one on this earth to answer them is sometimes driving me crazy. Let's be honest here. Like, sometimes it's really like, I just really, really want to understand why he did that and understand what could have been if he didn't do that. And also I found out that was his second attempt, so there was definitely something going inside his head. And I am really wondering if when he decided to do that, he just thought about me just a little, like seriously just a little, because I've never received either Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday or anything like that. And I truly don't care about gifts. Like, gifts is my fifth love language. Like, I truly don't care. But, it's the thought that counts, and the fact that he never, maybe he never did. I don't know. That's the thing about it. So whenever this grief like hits me, like, I don't know, I can have an amazing day, like in school, talking with my friends, I don't know, get a good grade, whatever. Then I come home and I am alone, and it just hits me like a train. Truly, it's something I cannot even describe. Like, it's just like pain that is inside you, and then it decides, okay, let's go like out a little. So I still am in the healing process, and I know this will never end till the rest of my life. But if you lost someone like that, it doesn't have to be like your parent or whatever. I truly understand you, and I truly understand how it hits, and I've never experienced that, like, ever. But yeah, this type of grief is truly demolishing. That's how I would describe it. And I've read this text on TikTok like a few months ago. I guess it was in August or something like that. And I saved it, and I never realized how important it would be to me when that happened. So I want to read it to you, and I want to end this episode on this note. There's this question at the end, so you can think about it, and I am thinking about it every single day, seriously. So we can all like collectively think about it, and then you can either like DM me or write in the comments or whatever, like your opinion about it and what do you think. And I would really just love us to realize that this is not our fault, and forgiveness, I feel like, at least at my part, is really, really important. How do we forgive our fathers? Maybe in the dream. Do we forgive our fathers for leaving us too often or forever when we were little? Maybe for scaring us with unexpected rage or making us nervous because there never seemed to be any rage there at all. Do we forgive our fathers for marrying or not marrying our mothers, or divorcing or not divorcing our mothers? Shall we forgive them for excess of warmth or coldness? Shall we forgive them for pushing or leaning, for shutting doors or speaking through walls, for never speaking or never being silent? Do we forgive our fathers in our age, or in theirs, or in their deaths, saying it to them or not saying it? If we forgive our fathers, what is left?